I got him! I got him! I got him! Hey there, Jellyheads! Welcome to a special episode of Last Coin at the Arcade. We have with us a special guest today.
Hey everyone, I'm Bobby Dillon. I'm RadAustin27 online. I own radcompany.org, and I'm happy to be on the podcast. This is super exciting.
How did we get on? How did he get here?
Let's just say his participation is compulsory.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong right now at all. I'm completely here under my own willpower, and it's absolutely amazing to be here.
We're happy to have you. It's great. You're a minor celebrity, a major celebrity. You're a huge deal.
Semi-celebrity.
It's kind of a joke. But I don't know. I started content creation when I was 14 years old.
Content creation?
Yeah, that's kind of what YouTube coins it as nowadays.
Oh, content creation.
Yes.
I thought you said constant creation.
Oh, no. Well, pretty much it feels like that, to be honest with you. You're in constant motion. But with it all, content creation through YouTube has become this sort of passion. I fell in love with these guys way back in the day called 4Player Podcast. And these guys were all about streaming on JTV. That's before Twitch was a thing.
Justin TV.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Okay, yeah, I heard about that.
So what was crazy about it all is they just did scary games, and they would do pretty much what a lot of people like PewDiePie and Markiplier do today, but they were doing it way back and trailblazing then, and I thought that was hilarious. I'm like, oh, I'd love to do that myself and entertain people. And it became this almost passion project, because I didn't get paid till about 2011, 2012 was when I started first getting paid for doing this stuff. And I just wanted to entertain people. That whole idea to me to take people away, the sense of escapism you get through YouTube videos and movies in general, speaks volumes to me. Because we live in such a crazy world. That's like, I love that ability that you could put and create something that you really care about, and other people can just forget about their worries for 5-10 minutes at a time or longer.
Me and the founder of Psycho Jellyfish, Dave from No U-Turns at the Drive-In, and myself, we did a TV show and a radio show back in college, and we would get stopped by people saying, "Oh, I remember you guys are on TV."
That's
awesome. They'd always be like high or super drunk. It was just
even better.
Reed, do you get recognized in public very often?
Never, ever.
That's good. That's
it's
very
not in the right area for that to happen.
Yeah,
you'd have to be in like LA or New York City.
So. Because I went to a meetup, I was telling you guys earlier, in Santa Monica Pier, and we had this big, like, I expected no one, maybe 5 or 10 kids to show up. We had like 250 people show up on the pier. It was awesome, but to see all these people, like...
For you or...
No, for a group,
okay,
for a group of guys.
Okay.
Combined, we probably had like 2 million subscribers, so it's probably relative to that.
Okay.
In the area and everything, and it was just... You had a lot of young crowd. I had the older crowd, though, which was funny, though, because my videos are so much about the storyline and theory of the game, Call of Duty Zombies. And for the people listening, I specialize on the particular channel that has the most success, RadAustin27 on YouTube. That one covers Call of Duty Zombies. And for the past 8 years, it's been a love-hate relationship with the storyline, because it's a first-person shooter, and they're trying to tell you a story without having typical thematic ways of telling you the story.
Yeah, I was actually looking at that. Like, it seems like they're not laying the lore out for you so much as it's kind of hidden and almost unintentionally, in some cases, just kind of speckled throughout.
Oh yeah, and that's the beauty of it. And what's interesting is, it started in World at War in about 2008, the game released.
Right.
From there, we had this really amazing arc where everything came from, was where it was just a fun mode. It wasn't supposed to be a thing. Treyarch was not allowed to do this, and they got it in the game, and people loved the game mode. And then there's more maps came out, more DLCs, and we started speculating on stuff, because one of the head guys there, Jimmy Zielinski, who no longer works for Treyarch, but he was like the father of it, the public figure that made this stuff. He was so cryptic in the stuff he would do, and you'd see these dates on walls and stuff in like the map for Rucht, for example, and then us in the community would go, strange. You can type that in Google, and then you get these things that eventually lead to Nazi research, the bell, time travel, teleportation. You're like, this is great, and that's kind of what's led to now. There's way more structure now in the latest version because they got the money. They got the entire department of zombies. There's something like 300 people dedicated to just making the zombies game mode now, which is incredible from its humble beginnings of like 4 or 5 guys in a corner and people being like, what are you doing? Nazi zombies is not Call of Duty. And now it's one of the strongest modes, if not one of the leaders in monetary value for Activision.
Why don't you think they just make that a game on its own so far?
I couldn't tell you yet, to be honest with you. In past, it seemed ridiculous not to. Honestly, it was like, they can't make a game. There's no following for it. Now, absolutely, it should. Before, too, like, World at War, people were like, we should have cutscenes. I'm like, there will never be cutscenes in zombies because it was just so ridiculous to think about those things. Now, we get them all the time. We actually had gameplay instances in the game. We would teleport back in time and relive something in the past while still playing in the first-person perspective. Where just like, we're experiencing something that's not the typical cinematics you experience in most games where you have to, like, the bars will come up or whatever. You're still in game.
Yeah.
And a whole sequence is going on that you can't interact with or you can't change because it's time travel and all that nonsense. But you can interact with it. You see stuff like part of this whole sequence during this Easter egg was getting a code. And when he types in the code, you now know that code from the past and you use it in the future. Just little stuff like that to me is brilliant. I'm like, wow.
Do you think their sort of strategy of laying out the plot and Easter eggs sort of brought a community together where otherwise it might not have happened so quickly and easily?
Yes, absolutely. They've said it many times that Zombies is for the fans, by the fans. We used to help shape the story for a long time. That, like, we would say, I think this is going on, and then the creator would go, and then he'd say, I like this part, but this is my direction. And they'd keep forming a story that way. Now it's been so established to the point at which Zombies has become so big that we have this guy called Jason Blundell now, who's the director of Treyarch Zombies, who says, all right, before we release this game, this is point A, this is point B, this is where I want to go with the storyline, this is all the maps we're going to make. And they did this even as early as The Giant, which was one of the maps released in November of last year. They had these ciphers in game, and there's a whole community out there that crack these ciphers. They do like the Enigma machine ciphers, audio waves, stuff that blows me away that they can turn these around. But there's still 3 unsolved ciphers on that map. The ones that we did get all hinted toward the maps already. So like as we're unlocking them, complete description for the first DLC, second DLC, third DLC, and we're like, they have it planned out. They know what they're doing.
Your personal claim to fame was unlocking the Easter egg on Dreisendrasch.
Yes, yes.
Can you take us through like what exactly figuring out that mystery entailed and like how many people you were racing with to figure it out first?
What I'll explain too for the people at home if they're unfamiliar with this whole world that is Call of Duty Zombies and all that is in the YouTube community in particular, or the online community. It's incredible that these Easter eggs became a passion, a following, because it started in Doris, was the kind of prototype of these quest Easter eggs that were put out there. So it's this big, you do all these ridiculous steps and it unlocks a secret in-game. And Doris, you had this thing, you shot something outside the map, it would fly in the air, and then you'd run around the map looking for 3 teddy bears, and you shoot those, and that's it.
Yeah.
And creator said the original Easter egg was too complicated. Like, we'd never figure that out, and they didn't put it in the map. And the community said, come on, that's ridiculous. So the next map came out, which was 5 and Kino der Toten. And there was sort of Easter eggs in it as well, still very calm. And then also Ascension was released, the first DLC of Black Ops 1, I think that was 2010. And people are by a section of the map where there's this perk machine called PhD Flopper, and they hear a noise. And they're like, what the hell is with that noise? And it just is really loud, really out of place noise. And almost a week goes by since the map's released, and someone throws this equipment called a Gersh device outside the map, lands near a generator. And normally, as soon as you throw something out of the map, the game says, not supposed to be there, takes it. Didn't. The Gersh device goes off, it sucks the generator in. And the race began. All these people started posting videos online. Oh my God, did you see this? I got another step. And it became this whole following as all the maps came out. As says, can we beat it? Can we figure out the little puzzle? And I've had the privilege to talk to the developers about this stuff, and that's all it is. It's a puzzle. It's like 10 mines, because they're super secretive about this, so only a few people on the dev team actually know about it. There's guys working on zombies that have no idea what the Easter egg is, and what the actual ending is comes down to 2 guys. So it's just like, wow, it's amazing how tight-locked that is, but it's them versus hundreds of thousands of mines now. And back in the day, it was like a couple thousand, but now, for RadAustin Channels, I was streaming with people like Noah J, Mr. Raffle Waffles, and Money Talks was also on my team, and between us, we were breaking about 80,000 people watching us trying to solve this, and we have tons of other directors also trying to solve this Easter egg, and people at home that don't have YouTube channels are. So it's literally thousands and thousands of people trying to solve these puzzles. And you start, as soon as it launches, I like to play one playthrough just by myself to enjoy the map, just to get the hang of it and be like, oh my god, it's new, it's exciting. Then you go, all right, get the team together, we're gonna go look for stuff. And the process of finding Easter eggs is horrible. It really is for like what most people would see. I love it, it's exciting to me, but most people gotta be like, really? Because you go around holding square on everything in the map, you're trying to look for stuff, you listen, you're looking for lights blinking, and like, is that Morse? Is that Morse code? Is it too fast? It's too fast for Morse code? Okay. It's just insane stuff. And you look around the map for just things that stick out. On Gorod Crovy, the latest map that was released, there was these pipes around the map, and you're like, oh, yeah, obviously that's going to be something. And then you see these little switches, and you're like, there's 4 of these, 6 now? Yep. They're going to be something. And the way it's been structured now, we almost know the rhythm of it. So with Gorod Crovy, we were racing down to the last minute. It was amazing against another guy that got the Shadows of Evil Easter egg first, and there's this first time ever introduced a boss fight, and he died in the boss fight and disconnected, and they implemented a boss fight into this endless horde-based mode called Zombies, and it worked perfectly, and it made thematic sense perfectly, and it blows my mind. It's one of my favorite maps, if not my favorite map to this day, because of just how much it did right and our ability to come through. The developers talked about, when making that map, they wanted to have an experience where you get into the boss fight and there to be a oh shit moment. That you're going to get really far in this Easter egg and you're going to have to restart. And we didn't know going into the match that there's an attack that he had that insta-downs you. It just game overs you if you don't know what to do right. And we got in the match, maybe 5 seconds into the fight, game over. And we're like, what? We were first in the world, no! And then you got to get back in and go through the whole process again. And that just makes it so exciting. The developers, there's a split where half of them are really into the online community. They're going to tell you what's going on. They're going to follow the streams, congratulate you when you find it. And there's another half that want nothing to do with you. So you're not influencing their creative process. So that's all in all really what the RadAustin Channels Easter egg was, is this massive years of lead up to it, and then accomplishing it was just like almost a credit to my passion towards the game, because I've been doing this for 8 years, and I've been second many times, many times, and finally to come out first was just like, oh my god, thank goodness. This, because it helps with your channel, you get more views and subscribers from a monetary perspective, but just to be like, I solved it first. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Definitely, absolutely. And I got to congratulate you. You were just part of this charity drive.
Yeah.
Easter eggs for charity. You guys raised $100,000 for St. Jude's.
Incredible. And what I really have to tip my hat off to Noah, the guy I played with the RadAustin Channels Easter egg, because he organized this with 16 other YouTubers over like 8 different time zones spanning almost the entire world. It's like, good luck ever getting people to show up. Yeah, right. I try and get people on my podcast weekly, and I tell them 4 weeks in advance, and they still can't make it. This guy was able to organize a charity event. In 8 hours, he raised about $103,000.
That's insane.
Still going. It's still, he has the link up, so people still doing and all that, but it was an incredible process. It was really something that blew me away, that our zombie community is so powerful that we can do that type of stuff for a good cause. We approached Treyarch about this, saying we can do this type of stuff because they like to sponsor their multiplayer guys. There's a thing called The Race. So as soon as a Call of Duty game comes out, they get all the big YouTubers for multiplayer, and they will play for a week straight and raise money for charity. I don't think they cleared $100,000 in a week, and we did it in 8 hours. So it just makes me see, like, you should take advantage of your community. We're up and growing, and Zombies isn't going anywhere. Infinite Warfare is the newest Call of Duty coming out, and that Call of Duty announced a zombie mode because it's become a staple. And Sledgehammer, there's a 3-year cycle on the developers. They have zombies. So it's zombies every year now. So good for my job, but also exhausting.
So, for someone that like casually plays Call of Duty
Yes.
Zombies, what is the online hub for like the zombies community? Where would you go to like get involved with you and the others and all of the players online that are like serious zombies guys?
The best place I can recommend right now, the Call of Duty Reddit is one of the biggest places. I don't peruse it too much because they are brutal, like any Reddit is to any content creators.
Absolutely.
They're pretty nice to me, but some of my coworkers, like Noah, they will just say horrible things about it. And it's that classic, like, he's getting paid by Activision millions of dollars to say good things. It's like, no, no, he's not. None of us get paid by them to say positive things about Call of Duty or any of that stuff, because you'll hear videos where we're just like, this feature is garbage. I fucking hate this. And they tend to ignore that, or you don't get that many people to see that. But besides the Call of Duty Reddit, there's Call of Duty Zombie Forums. That place is great for like theories. For my stuff, it's just like, they go to such detail about stuff that just blows your mind. You're like, oh yes, that could be a thing. How did you find that? That's just crazy to me. And then the YouTube in general, if you just do Call of Duty Zombies, all the creators are so interconnected that you'll easily be able to see all the guys that make zombie videos, like Noah J, Mr. Dalek JD, MC Sports Hawk, Johnny J, Laggin, the Syndicate Project, who's the biggest guy in the zombies community, who's kind of gotten away from it in recent years, but he's still sort of in it every now and then. He keeps up with DLCs, but he used to be one of our showrunners back in the day for Black Ops. He had millions of subscribers, and he was a zombie guy, and it was really cool, but he kind of moved on to bigger and better things with his business.
Are you looking to branch out into any other things?
Oh my
besides,
God,
the
yes.
Call of Duty stuff?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you've gone super deep on like a really narrow thing. Like,
Yes.
it amazes me that you managed to keep coming out with content at a regular pace when
Yeah.
you're like it's so laser focused.
It amazes me too. Some days I sit in my room like, well, how am I going to come up with something to talk about today? Because consumers on YouTube want daily content. They very much want to come home and see your video and consume it. Otherwise, you lose that relationship with them, which is frustrating when the only medium I have on my largest channel is exactly this, zombies. It's this very niche community that's like, I would love to show people this and be proud of it, but most people can't relate to it that aren't gamers. I ran into someone on a plane back from a small vacation I took in Florida. She gave me her business card. She was a businesswoman, and she checked out my stuff, and the first thing she says to me is, boy, you like zombies. It's like, yeah, I do. So I've actually been taking steps with an entertainment realm channel that's got about 430 subscribers, doing all right, but it's a production. And as you guys very well know, to make something really well in production, it's not a one-man show. You need so many people. You look at the end credits of a movie, to make something that incredible, even if it's a garbage movie, it still takes a collaboration of hundreds of people to make something like that, and millions of dollars. So when I'm trying to balance this RadAustin channel, where video production can take me 5 to 8 hours for a single video a day, and then I have a Rad Plays, where it's just a Let's Play channel, so I can actually show you, I like other games, guys. I'm normal, I actually care about all the gaming industry. And then Entertainment Realm was this way for short films, movie reviews, comics, all that other stuff that I really, really love in life and I want to talk about, but that loses time because I started running a Patreon to support all this content creation so I could do more and more stuff, buy these games and camera equipment and all that. And it ended up turning into my own business as of recently, and I'm actually registering it right now, going through the process to get it trademarked and to be an official Rad Company business where I host my website, all my merchandising. I want to make clothing lines and have poster lines available for people. I've been doing that for a couple of years, but now I found my stride with it. And that's where I want to go. I always want to be content creating and making whatever it may be for escapism. That's really where I found my passion in life. So zombies is the thing today. That's what I like today. In the future, I feel like I've developed enough skills to be like, I'll be around. I've made enough friends to edit something. You know, the dream is like, if I could edit a movie, how amazing would that be to be the guy editing, you know, a Star Wars film or something like that? That's insanity to be part of that project.
Yeah.
And that's something I would love to see in the future, whether or not I'm editing a massive movie like that or just content creating and whatever the new mediums the future holds. Because YouTube wasn't a thing 8 years ago, you know, just sort of coming into the fold. And then you go even further back of just online videos and then what was before, you know, colored picture TV and all that. I love the history. I'm a big history guy in that sense. And I took a whole course about, you know, film from when it's like early origins all the way to present day. And it's amazing how the medium has continued to change, stay true to its roots, but just it can reach people on so many different levels that's my calling, and that's what I hope to do in life. Not just be like some of my friends that I just shake my head out, where just like, I don't know what's gonna happen after zombies, man. I out of ideas. It's just like, oh, you're done copying everybody's videos? Great. I'll see you later then.
Yeah, we're always, we have like branched, like from the get-go, we've had like a billion different branches that were already going on. So it's
Well, man, just creating a weekly podcast is a good amount of work to be, and video, you know, we've done a little bit of video here, and the amount of production time is just exponential. You go from, you know, the podcast.
It's like, when are you guys free for an hour?
Yeah.
And then
yeah, exactly.
Together,
like, you know, how much time we are on the air, like, it only takes maybe twice that much time to record and everything. You know, for the video, it's like, it's a full day of setup and takedown, and
oh my God,
you know, like, and so for what you do, to do this every day and be a full-time student, it's insanity.
It is, and I'm going back to school soon, and I got to find the new balance. The good news, I'm single. That frees up a lot of time. Because I balance schoolwork in the sense of school at college is typically a 40-hour week. You had engineering and all that stuff, and that was like a 40-hour full-time job for school. I found out I didn't like engineering, and to me that's like, if I don't love this, why am I spending this much time doing something like this? So thankfully I'm in new media marketing, which I'm sure is still going to take 20 hours, 25 hours, 30 hours of my week of studying, but I can still balance that with YouTube. Even though, like, when I can do this stuff full time, it's 65 to 75 hours a week. And absolutely every day, from the time I wake up, to the time I go to bed, I'm creating. There's no way about it. I have a couple lunch breaks and mandatory sanity breaks. But besides that, it's a full-time gig no matter what I do. So to balance it at school, I remember, like, last year, I sat down and I'm just like, all right, this is how many hours are in the week. How many hours I get to sleep. How many hours I can study for, how many hours I have to content create, and then I broke that down. Recording, just if you need to record a session for Let's Plays. So if you want to be able to get ahead on something like a Let's Play, I might record, you know, for 2 or 3 games, 2 to 3 hours per game, all right? So I just lost a day of editing right there.
Right.
And now that means RadAustin 27 didn't get a video that day, which is a problem. So Rad Plays might be set for the next week, but now I have to edit all those videos. I'm also by myself, which kills me in the sense that with movie reviews, the best part is people disagreeing. There's people saying like, oh, well, my perspective is. So there's only so much I can do in my room and be like, I'm going to make a movie review show where I sit there and talk about what I think. And that just bothers me from a production value. It's like, no, that's not entertaining to watch.
Oh, yeah. No U-turns. We love when we have more than just Dave and I.
I mean,
we get a third guy in.
Our gaming podcast, Last Coin, is on hiatus right now because our third guy, Kevin, is getting married and he's off on his honeymoon. So
God damn him. Screw him in his personal life. We have real things to talk about.
But I mean, we find even just 2 people is too few to really have like a really deep discussion about something. Like having the third guy really adds a lot of dimension there.
Absolutely.
So like being on your own, that's tough. It's tough to fill air on your own when you don't have somebody to talk to. Just
oh my gosh.
Just trying to talk to
yourself is enough.
Like I've done a little bit of streaming, hardly anything, and just to remind myself to keep my mouth moving the whole time. It's crazy.
You're not that entertaining. No one's that interesting, but you got to pretend to be. And it's insane to me. I remember one of my best Let's Plays I ever did, which blows my mind back in the day. It was a game I was very well versed in, Sly Cooper. It was Sly Cooper 2, and this was way back before I'm as good as I am today at the stuff I do. But what I love about that Let's Play series is that I had a list of topics. And for somehow, I was able to talk fine. I knew what I was doing because I played the game a million times. So I could have interesting conversations while still playing the game at a really, really entertaining value. So I'm beating bosses and doing all kinds of tricks and showing you all this hidden stuff while also telling you a fun story about something I experienced. That is the epitome of Let's Playing and streaming. That's the best, the pinnacle of it at its whole. Online, like streaming, how do you do that for 4 hours? These people that are supposed to stream for 4 to 6 hours, I don't know how you keep talking. I lose my enthusiasm around 2 hours. That's when everything starts going down. Even if I have water and all that stuff, you really get burnt out. You lose the excitement because now you're just trying to focus on playing the game and like, you get fatigued. You run out of steam. You're a person. Video games aren't that entertaining. So even on new releases, you'll see the live stream will go from like, because people almost live stream 24/7 during a new DLC. They'll go from, oh my God, look at this thing. Look at that thing. Wow, what's that? To like,
Yeah.
You fucking asshole, you got it wrong. No, you weren't supposed to do that. And that just blows my mind because people will be like, but I always get these comments talking about, boy, you're really angry at your teammate over there. You're just really upset. I'm like, I'm not upset. I'm like 2 hours of sleep. We're trying to find these Easter eggs for you guys. I am just spent. And live streaming is super special in that I love productions because you get entertaining content. I mean, live TV has been around forever, since like, not ever, but you know, like the 50s, 40s maybe, of having live broadcasts, live TV, and all that production. And it really hasn't improved that much. Like, I couldn't imagine Periscope and live streaming a video, and that being your daily live stream. Like, Twitch is special in that sense, where it can do that with video games. But people, I don't know. I don't know if that's a medium to be explored where I want to see, you know, Dwayne Johnson every day live streaming 20 minutes out of his day and being like, oh, just lifting some weights today, guys. Being like, I don't know.
Well, you're a really bubbly and animated guy, and I can attest to the viewers that Read IRL is the real you. You wouldn't be able to put on this face all day. You know, it'd be too exhausting.
Yeah.
And that's got to help a lot with the live streaming, like to have that personality where you can just, you know, keep yourself going at 10 out of 10 to keep people engaged. But
very much, I think, it comes from people. Like when I'm by myself, then I am dead silent. Oh my God, people laugh at me, especially my roommates. They make comments about it. The music I'll listen to is video game soundtracks and piano. I have tons of piano music. I fell in love with orchestral stuff, and I just love hearing like the visions it creates inside my head. I love reading. I love books. I love storytelling.
Yeah.
So just orchestral music just takes you away on a journey, and I love that stuff. So I'll be in my house, and I won't say a word. Like even at college, I'd have days where it'd be 5 o'clock. And that'd be the first time I'd say a word going out to the store to buy dinner. I'd be like, thank you. And I'm like, Jesus. Dude, what the hell happened today? People really bring it out in me. It does make it easier, for sure.
when you, so you're closing to the end of your college career. You've almost nailed down a degree. When you're done, do you think you're going to use the skills you've learned to try to make Rad Company your livelihood, or are you going to try to pick up a day job and use that to finance this stuff on the side?
I think I'm going to see how well I'm doing financially to support myself at that point.
That is the challenge.
Yes. If it's taken off to the point where if it could stay consistent like this summer was, I'd be over the moon and absolutely would do this full time. But I live in the real world, and the business cycle is cyclic, and so are game releases and people's interest in Call of Duty and what I'm creating. That doesn't mean I can't find something else. I have had my channel die because I went to college and I couldn't keep up with it. I had so much going on in my personal life that I was stuck at 50,000 subscribers for about a year and a half, and I couldn't break 300 views on my videos. It was very, very frustrating. And this past year, I built it back up again from nothing. When I started school in 2015, I was at about just hit 60,000 subscribers. By the end of the school year, I was at 105,000 subscribers. Just incredible numbers that I was able to cultivate and breathe breath of air into my channel, really bring it back to life. And I see if I did it once, if I did it twice, I can keep doing it again. I know how to really use the system that I've learned to love and hate in a way that I can do it again given time. But I'd rather not. I'd rather not rebuild everything I've worked so hard for. But it doesn't, you know, so many people freak out about it. You're so worried about tomorrow that it's like, you're never going to get there if you just worry about it. So as soon as college graduates, if things are going well, yeah. If not, I'm going to take my set of skills and I'm going to try and work for a place like Rooster Teeth or Philip DeFranco. Not them, probably, because they'll be whatever they are, but something, the newer version, whatever the next upstart company is producing content creation, I would love to work for someone like that.
Do you think that the most important thing to growing your viewer base is regular releases?
Oh, absolutely. The consistency has absolutely blown me away with how growth works, especially with YouTube's metric system and how it suggests videos now. And the algorithm changes about 28 times per day to stop those people from back in the day, you know, like and favorite the video and you'll win this, and they get to the front page and they got millions and millions of subscribers, as you know. It's all about watch time. And it's so interesting to talk about retention. So if a person watches a video, 2-minute video, and they watch the whole thing, that's great. But if someone watched a 30-minute video, the whole thing through, that video will get suggested to everybody else over the 2-minute video. 2-minute video might get, you know, 500,000 views. 30-minute video might get 100,000 views. That's a more valuable video. Then it goes to the next level. How many times does the viewer go from the video they just watched to the next video on your channel? And they continue to click your videos and watch the next videos on your channel, then you are just riding high. You're going to get suggestions in their feed constantly. You know, when you log into YouTube now, it's not subscriptions that comes up first, it's your homepage. And your suggested videos are based on those guys you keep clicking.
Yeah.
So like a Casey Neistat, which is a daily vlog, I fell in love with this guy almost overnight because of how incredible he is with cinematography. He's been a filmmaker before the YouTube, before the internet, and it's incredible to me to see this guy really have a tough life, and he's not one of those people that had money and just fell into the movie business and all that stuff again. It's really one of those people that wasn't a good person that became a good person, and you love those stories. And he really is doing amazing things, and you love his work ethic. He wakes up at 5 a.m. every day, and he ends his days at midnight, and he makes videos from start to go. And he travels the world, does all these amazing things, and every day you want to see what's next, what's next. And YouTube system really rewards that of you going like, what's next, what's next, I want to see the next thing. And he just got it down pat. And that's why he went from a year ago, 500,000 subscribers, to a week ago, 4 million. So that's the system today, and it'll probably change in a year from now. You might look back at this podcast and be like, oh, you believe back in the day that was the system? It's incredible because before it was how many views you got, how many ratings you got, and it'll continue to change.
All right. So to switch gears a little bit.
Yeah.
I know you're a Star Wars fan.
Oh, am I?
Did you see the new Rogue One trailer?
Oh, I lost it. I was watching the Olympics, and the entire time I'm like, I don't want him to, but I know they're going to show Vader. I don't want him to. I want it to be a super surprise, but there's no surprises in this day and age. And I'm waiting, and they had the Rogue One thing, and I'm like, I know it's coming. And it showed a little bit of it, and we just lost it. My buddy Ryan was over at my house, and we just started screaming and yelling. My mom's like, what's going on? What'd you see? What'd you see? I'm like, you know what you saw. It was Vader. And I mean, Disney will make millions off Vader merchandise if they just put him in for a second. If they don't put him in, they're losing out on all this money. Just like, it makes no sense to me from a marketing perspective. Gotta be in the movie. But from a fan perspective, gotta be in the movie. So I am over the moon for Rogue One.
I love how character-driven the trailer is.
Yes.
Like, I can't even, like, I'm trying not to get my hopes, like, stratospherically high, but I can't stop it. I'm just like, it might be better than Empire.
Right?
Like,
Well, the thing is, Force Awakens to me is my favorite movie. Empire I didn't get to grow up with, which is the problem.
Okay.
I grew up with the original, the prequels. So I got to see the original trilogy, and as a kid you're like, it was kind of outdated, because you got Darth Maul, this double-ended lightsaber, and all the Clone Wars, and you're like, that
True.
shit's cool.
Yeah.
But then you grow up and you listen to the dialogue, and you're like, what? You know, like Mr. Krabs meme, where everything's like, that's exactly how it felt when I was watching it again when I got older. I'm like, this is terrible. This was great. I remember this being great. This is terrible. And it was frustrating. Like, the Clone Wars animated series really saved it for me. I really love that. I gotta watch Rebels still. I'm way behind
Rebels
that.
is great.
Yeah. Oh, I hate it because I saw some spoilers where they show Ahsoka and Darth Vader. I'm like,
Oh, that was a great fight.
oh, no, don't tell me anything. I'm just like, oh no. Like, I need to catch up as fast as possible to see that.
Yeah,
because
and then Thrawn's coming back for season 3.
fuck off.
Yeah.
No.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've really enjoyed having you here. I'm so glad that we got to have this discussion.
Yeah, it was wonderful. I hope to be on again sometime.
Absolutely. Anytime you want.
Absolutely. Anytime, yeah, come on this. Come on our other shows like No U-Turns at the Drive-In.
So,
great.
If you viewers want to see more of us, our podcast is called Last Coin at the Arcade. That's available on iTunes. It's on the podcast app Stitcher.
4 years of
Yeah.
growing content.
Season 5 is the best season.
Yeah, just know you're to the Drive-In though. That one's had a steady evolution. That one's good.
I've been on it a couple times.
You can listen to
There's
that.
some
You can
quality
listen
content
to,
there.
yeah, you can listen to those ones further back. Last Coin. Every season is totally different. We're not sure what's going on.
Oh, gosh.
If you want to find us on Twitter, we're both Last Coin Luke. I spell it Last Coin _LUC, and this guy's Last Coin LUKE.
Ooh, look at these guys.
Reed, where are the many different avenues on which people can learn more about you?
There's a lot of places on radcompany.org. You can find out my mission statement, who I am, and pretty much all my companies and channels are there. But in particular, youtube.com @RadAustin27. You can follow all my interesting stuff and my travels around the country to places like LA and the UK and whatnot, depending on what releases. But again, if you would like to see their stuff, everything they just explained is going to be linked down in the description. This is definitely going to be a change of pace for my channel for you guys. So one of the fun videos. I see that there is other stuff outside of zombies and really interesting discussions to be had out there. So I want to thank you guys so much for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Bye. Keep it psycho.